everyone, and welcome back to Fiction Friday. We're reading My Name Is Harmonic, and I'm your reader, Alpha Instincts. So, let's jump right in. The walls were white with silver molding. The floor was made up of black and white polished marble. All around him, there were even more ponies that looked just as affluent as his host. Some of them, as Harmonic noted, were exchanging cards, spoke softly and elegantly. The stallions were all in suits and ties, while the mares were in dresses that showed off their physiques and elaborated hairstyles. He also noticed that there were a few of the equestrian guards in armor around, casually talking to the other ponies around them. Harmonic tried to stay unnoticed by the large refreshment table in the corner. The colt did snack on the food. However, he didn't eat all of it, since they were served in tiny portions, and some of the entrees he didn't recognize. The ponies that came near him acted as if he wasn't even there. They took sips of punch, talked about some kind of business that the violinist wasn't interested in listening. If anything, he was getting rather bored of it all. That is, until his host came up to tell him that it was time to play. He went to the front room where all the ponies could see him now. He took out his violin, tightened and rosined up his bow, and began to play. First, he began with an image of the misty mountains of his frosty homeland. It was slow and light, but kept a few low notes, just to keep his aristocratic audience's attention. Then, he played with a dance in mind, using two strings at the same time to make it like the instrument was humming. But, before he could start playing a third song, he heard some guests in the crowd saying the words that nearly sent him over the edge. That was boring. He opened his eyes to focus on where that snobby remark came from. He found it came from a tall white unicorn with a blonde mane. With the violin and bow and his aurora, he went over to him and asked if there was a problem. "Your music," he said. "It's not bad, but it just seems lifeless to me." Harmonic's response was to put his violin under his chin, and then he played in front of the snob, the very sound of his rage. There's a link there, I'll put it in the description below. With his eyes closed, the only thought he had wasn't a thought at all. It was just the color red. With his eyes closed, he played up a storm. There were notes that went from high and low and back again at incredible speed. Sharps, naturals, flats, on one string, two strings. Hair on his bow breaking. I don't know if that means bow or bow. Sorry. Hair on his bow breaking. He didn't bother. He was far too focused to care what was happening. Did he hear the audience gasp? He couldn't tell from his fiery concentration. Too far in the moment to even notice that his new cloak came undone. After he ended his rage on a high note, he heard absolutely nothing. He expected that there would be a reaction. Applause, booing, talking, something, anything. But all he heard was silence. He opened his eyes to see not just the pony in front of him who offended him, but everyone as well was staring at him, eyes as wide open as their jaws. He wasn't even sure if anyone was even breathing. "What?" Harmonic asked. There's a reaction. It came from the pony who offended him. He still had that frozen look of shock on his face as he pointed a hoof at the violinist. Armand looked down, and to his horror, realized what they were staring at. They were looking at him with nothing to cover him, no cloak to shield him, nothing to hide his pair of wings. His eyes shifted from one pony to another. I was all Harmonic said before he tried to run out of the room. Almost immediately, every single pony in the room tried to do what they could to make sure he didn't leave the room. Guards blocked the doors from the panicked Alicorn. Since there were so many around, the pony was backed into a corner of the room. His front limbs covered his head on the floor, shaking out of fear. Fancy made his way over to the frightened pony in the corner. "Harmonic?" he said in astonishment. "You're an Alicorn!" "Please," he begged. "Don't hurt me." "Sir," one of the guards approached, "please calm yourself. No pony said anything about hurting you." "Stay back!" Harmonic bolted upright, flattening his back against the corners of the wall. "Please, stay back!" But the guards didn't listen as they approached the terrified colt. "Where do you hail from?" one of the Pegasi guards questioned, still keeping to the air in case he flies out. "Just let me go," the Alicorn begged. "Let me take my violin. I promise I'll never come back to this city again." "Kid, listen." A solar unicorn guard went up to him. Harmonic covered his face one more. "I promise, no pony in this city is going to harm you. So how about we take you somewhere that's safe?" "Safe? You're not going to protect me. You're going to hurt me." "No pony is going to do that. Just come with us peacefully. We'll take you to Princess Celestia and Luna." "For what? They're just going to harm me like all the others." "No, they won't. The princesses are Alicorns, like you." "You're lying! I'm the only Alicorn around here." "Just come with us." But when Harmonic refused, the unicorn lifted him into the air. The Alicorn frantically tried to get out of the guard's magic, to no avail. "Get the violin," he told his fellow guards. Once they I cannot pronounce that for some reason, so I'm just going to skip it. Once they took the violin and its case, the guards excused themselves from the auction before heading towards the palace, with one panicky Alicorn in their custody. Okay, you guys, that will be the end of this recording. I'm sorry I had to, be very short, but right now I'm actually currently being rushed in real life, while I'm recording this, and I won't have any more options unless I want to wait a couple of weeks. So, I'm bringing this out right now, and well, I hope you guys have a great time. I'll see you again in a little bit. My brother is coming over, so I won't be able to do anything on YouTube, because my brother and his wife will be here, and they're very snoopy, so I won't be able to really do anything. Anyways, I will see you guys later. My name is Alpha Instincts, and goodbye.